Howdy! Howdy. Here I am reporting live on this fabulous Wednesday. I hope everybody is having a delightful day. We're going to talk ghosts. We're going to talk big feet. We're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about probes. We're going to talk about holes and rabbits and rabbit holes. It's going to be great. I'm going to let MaryLynn kind of introduce our fantastical guest, and then Phil's going to kind of give you the dime on this bad boy. So
you notice he got the probe in there, so he had to say probe.
I had to.
You had to.
Go ahead, MaryLynn.
Our guest today is Thomas Patrick Gormley. So I actually met him on another podcast and decided to reach out to him and see if we can get him to come on, and here he is.
That's a sexy fucking name, you know?
Thanks. Very Irish.
Phil, what do you got? What do you got on the sexy name, bro?
So Thomas has been an empath his whole life and is dedicated to the unusual and unexplained, but will be the first to tell you he is an open-minded skeptic when it comes to the paranormal and feels the simple answers are there. We just haven't found them out yet. And you have a very, very long history of it looks like you were in the corrections field.
Okay.
And then you've had the opportunity to meet Ed and Lorraine Warren as well.
That goes way back. That's we're talking. I don't want to age myself, but I always tell people I've been doing this since dirt was clean. I've hit the 40-year mark. I was in my early teens when I met Ed and Lorraine at a talk, and Lorraine. I met her backstage, and she skipped everybody and came right up to me, and she noticed my aura or the energy about me that I was an empath, and I didn't know I was at the time. I just thought I was a weird kid, and so she helped me out with that, and had a good relationship with them for a few years. Then I went off to college, kind of lost track of them, but then when I got out of college and came back, sporadically I would meet up with them and all, but I started doing my own thing from there on out. So, yeah.
So he encouraged you?
Yeah. Lorraine was one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Ed, once you get to know him, he was a little curmudgeon, but once you get to know him, he's got a big heart. He'll do anything for you. So they're very nice people, and a lot of longtime friendships in this industry, like over those years. A lot of those guys some of the guys that I knew back then are still around, but we're so old now we can't remember each other from way back.
Well, you seem familiar. Did I see you at the cafeteria line?
Yeah, I know, huh? Didn't I see you in 1980, whatever? Yeah.
So that
like, yeah.
Have you noticed how the cons have changed over time?
Yeah, when I first got into it, I remember trying to do EVP recordings with a boombox, hitting play and record, using compasses to pick up EMF and how the magnetic field would work. And yeah, it's just the old school stuff. When you learn that, the newer stuff is so easy now. It just makes things a little easier. But being an empath, picking up energies, and occasionally I could pick up spirits moving around through devices, and I like to verify with equipment. I don't depend on it, but I like to have it to verify how I'm feeling when I do an investigation. And I think in the last 40, I've probably done over 2,000 home investigations from
of the same home.
Yeah, I've done home investigations mostly, but I've actually retired from home investigations. I don't do them anymore because they're probably the hardest thing to do. Some people are convinced that their home is haunted when you tell them it isn't, and they just need to change their medication or something. But it's very hard to deal with the public sometimes in that way. So now I just travel and speak about my experiences. My partner and I, we do paranormal conferences and put those together, psychic fairs and all those types of things. And so it's fun. So I like what I'm doing now. So it's a little easier.
Have you ever gone into somebody's home and done like the Dumb and Dumber thing where like you come out of the basement and you got like ketchup coming out of your
just mess with people?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It depends on the client, you know. So sometimes they'll laugh at it. Sometimes I don't want to freak them too out, you know. Well, they are at their home, so at least they'll have a change of underwear if I scare them that much. So.
That is true.
That's one thing I say. It depends who I'm talking to. I could give a talk, and there's like people will always ask me, what's the best advice you could give to new investigators? So if it's a serious conversation, of course, I tell them intention is the most important thing. But if we're having a good time or we're laughing, I tell them, you know, first timers, make sure you bring an extra pair of underwear to the investigation. So it all depends on how it goes.
That's true. Have you ever got into a location, you see something out of the corner of your eye, you think it could be, you know, a ghost or something manifesting, and you go around only to find that it was just a potato?
That would be awesome. So, well, usually it's like somebody put a doll there. I'm not a big fan of dolls, so
yeah,
they're creepy as hell, and everybody thinks everybody has a possessed doll now. So I don't know how that all happened, but you know.
Right.
So Thomas, I don't know if you know, but Mike is a comedian. So.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I know. Well, look at he's Norbert today.
Yes,
so.
It's Norbert. Thank you.
Yeah. Norbert Sherburton.
Yes, Sherburton. Yes.
Any relation to the Sherburtons in Vermont?
there is some. Yeah.
The Sherburton III, you know, with the big mansion up there in Burlington, Vermont. So
yeah, we're in a huge lawsuit with Ben and Jerry right now.
Oh yeah, I thought so. So. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. So as most that watch the show know, we do spirits for the spirits.
Yeah.
I have my 23-year-old golden apple crown that I'm going to pour.
I got my Down the Rabbit Hole Again cup.
Perfect. To going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Mine's
look at that.
Nice.
I like that. Drinking out of the porta potty. I want to say hi to my booking agent. My booking agent, Adam Began. He's just saying hi. So,
hey!
Love you, buddy. So, thanks for watching.
Glorious weirdos is what he says.
Yeah, that's my tagline. So all the snippets I do on TikTok and Facebook, and I always start off saying hello to my glorious weirdos, and I'll end them with Down the Rabbit Hole Again. So that's my shtick. That's what I'm kind of known for a little bit, and some other stuff.
How did that come about?
I don't know. The funny thing is the glorious weirdo thing wasn't what I started out doing. I started doing like these, you know, some young kids had to teach me how to do TikTok because I'm an old fart. I don't know how to do that stuff. So I learned how to do it, and I'm getting better at it.
I'm still learning how to Dougie, so I get it.
Yeah, I know. You know, I'm still trying to figure out how to break dance, for crying out loud. But so I was up in Salem, and I just heard it like glorious, like weirdo out of nowhere, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I should like start saying that. So I started doing that. But Down the Rabbit Hole Again has always been a moniker for me for quite a while. So.
And is that because you just a fan of the books, or you just like the phrase and what? No,
I just like the phrase. You know, it's always been around. You know, you're going back to Alice in Wonderland and going down the rabbit hole. You never know. You know, this is what we do. The paranormal. It's such a huge rabbit hole. You never know what you're going to get. And that's what I always say is like, you know, just chalk it up to the rabbit hole again. So if you can't explain it.
So okay, how did Archangel of the Paranormal come to be?
Oh my God, that goes a while back. I don't know. When I was doing home investigations and years ago, I say it's probably about 20 years ago now. And I got to the point where people were going in the homes and things were getting messed up, and I get called in to try and fix it. And, you know, they were saying, like, you know, with possessions and stuff, you hear a lot about people saying the Archangel Michael comes in and all that, and that's like the one that takes care of everything. And another investigator said, you know, that's like the Archangel Michael and all that. So they just started calling me the Archangel of the Paranormal. As like a funny, we kind of joked about it, but then it stuck, and I just said, well, nobody else has called that. I might as well keep it. So that way I don't get in the way of anybody else. So
It's catchy, so, and you can remember it.
Yeah, it works. It works. I didn't think I was good at advertising myself back then, so, but just a moniker that stuck and grew over time, and so.
So we were talking before the show, and you mentioned that you are a shaman. So how do you use your shamanism during investigations?
Well, I'm still on my path. It's still new. Just over the last couple of years, path, you know, you can't just become a shaman. You have to be called to it. And there's a lot that goes into it. It's more of the healing side of things. You know, just being involved in so long, and over the years, it's just progressed to that point. And using it, I use it to heal. And I have this thing where I like to heal the living and the spirit world, right? So you never know, when I go into to help somebody, I might have to help the person and the spirit. So the spirit may not know they're dead, and they don't know if they want to stay or not. And you commune with them to figure out if they want to still be here or not. And you give them the words, and they can make the decision to leave. But there's a lot that goes into it. You know, I meditate quite a bit. I think that's part of my journey, to meditate, get in touch with, you know, my spirit guides, my ancestors. I am part Native American, from I found out from a 23andMe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we found out after my mom died, but it's on my mom's side, because she'd always talked about it. So we don't know, you know, what type of Indian descent we are, but, you know, it's always been there. You know, I always have strange, vivid dreams. I pick up on things, and I'm still learning and channeling and all that. So it's just different, you know, being an empath, getting into this, learning all about it. There's a lot of different people I've met. You know, as a shaman, everybody you meet is for a reason. Everybody comes into your life for a reason. And that's why you got to keep open. Like I said, I don't believe in coincidence. Everybody you meet, there's a reason, there's a lesson there. And your spirit guides actually create those coincidences for you to learn. They're there to help you. And that's kind of what we're understanding. And that's how it helps us with these investigations.
So when you're working with around other people who have abilities, does that enhance yours, or how do you handle that?
Oh, it is. It's very enhancing when, you know, I'm a featured investigator on the TV show Dark Echoes, which is on Paraflix and Amazon Prime. My episodes haven't aired yet, but the whole premise of the show is there's an investigator and there's a medium, and the medium comes in blind, and they have to feel what's going on, and then the investigator will come in later and try and verify what the medium picked up with equipment or feel. But since I'm an empath and an investigator, with that, it corresponds a lot, and it's very mind-blowing. And, you know, the show, I think, for me personally, I think is going to take off. I mean, the way Matt Kondracki, who films it, you know, edits it, he's the director, he narrates it and all that. He's like the main host, and he's done some different stuff, and you watch it, the new way he's doing it, and you could shut the sound off and you know it's something paranormal.
Right.
The way the filming is, it's like that dark film, and oh my God, it looks like a classic, like haunting movie and all that, and it just really draws you in with the cinematography and just how the investigation goes. And it's all real. It's not scripted. If we go through an investigation, we don't get anything, it's still going to go on air, just to show people that not everything's a demon. You know, not everybody's going to scream and run out of the room and all. This is what really happens. And
Right.
I think that's what people want now, because I think they're a little over the screaming, everything's a demon and all that, from the people I talk to.
Yep. Well, and that's where we are actually filming a series as well. So it's kind of
nice.
a whole different setup. So, Mike, you want to talk about that?
No.
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 And Phil is one of our cameramen.
It's basically, it is the journey of one man and a psychic / paranormal investigator that he's teamed up with. So she has this incredible background to help guide the idiot. I play the idiot.
Nice.
And it really is just a normal, everyday person's journey into finding out what comes next. Nice. Is there life after death? Do aliens exist? What is a Bigfoot? Are there spirits? Are there ghosts? Can you interact with them? What is it really like? I think, and I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, that there's a lot of shows out there and they convince you that, everything is scary, everything is haunted, everything's a demon. And it gets to the point where you as a normal person, maybe you don't want to anymore. And I think that might be reflected in the fact that a lot of these shows have kind of dissipated over the years from mainstream television. And it could just be that people say, wow, I can't really connect with that because that's just too much to take. Mm-hmm. Well, this is us saying, hey, look, you could be your average Joe. You could be your normal person, and guess what? You can go out and you can have fun. You can experience the paranormal, and you know what? You're going to see some scary stuff. You're going to have some very cathartic moments. You're going to have some touching moments. You're going to have some close calls, but you're also going to have a lot of fun. They call it positive energy, right? Mm-hmm. It's still a form of energy. Yes. So I firmly believe that anything from the other side, it can feed off of that too. You don't have to. I mean, you said you've done over 2,000 investigations, right?
Yeah.
How many places have you gone that are normal locations where they take people in to do investigation? Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And how many times do you think those ghosts have been asked, how did you die? What's your favorite color?
Oh.
Do you know you're dead? Yeah. Like if they could hang themselves again, they probably would. Right?
Oh, so, hell, if I were a ghost, I would.
Right. So, and so this is how can we look at this from just a completely different point of view? Mm-hmm. Let's just have fun and be entertaining. And I guess, there are professionals. I'm obviously not that, and I don't even pretend to be. And that's where shows like yours is great, because somebody could watch, our show and be like, hey, that was a blast. This looks like a lot of fun. I want to dig a little deeper. And then they can find your show and they go, oh, wow, there's so many more facets to what's going on and the types of equipment they can use. And see, and that was kind of what I want, is I really want a way to kind of help.
I don't want to interrupt you, but just chimed in is the main host of Dark Echoes, Matt Kondracki. So he said, Matt. What's up, buddy? So there he is. So yeah, just talking about the shows, and I love that you guys are doing something to make people think also. That's what it's all about. We don't have that anymore. Yeah.
You want me to play the trailer really quick?
Sure.
You want the first one or the second one?
Let's do the first one. I'm Mike, and death sucks. I've had a couple of deaths in my family recently, and I want to know, what comes after this? Is there life after death? So I'm teaming up with MaryLynn, a psychic / paranormal investigator. Donate today.
Sorry.
You need to know what's going on around.
Sorry, I messed that up. Hold on.
Hey, I'm Mike, and death sucks. I've had a couple of deaths in my family recently.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to know, what comes after this? Is there life after death? So I'm teaming up with MaryLynn, a psychic / paranormal investigator. And together, we're going to check out some really awesome haunted locations. And maybe, just maybe, I'll find some of the answers that I'm looking for.
I noticed that Mike has a little bit of a hard time paying attention.
What'd you see? Hey, what are you doing?
Is he seriously eating right now? Watch your steps. Mike, you need to be careful. You need to know what's going on around you because you're going to hurt yourself. I'm going to have my hands full. He can't even walk without assistance.
I'm good.
Oh my God.
Every year, paranormal investigators go hungry. 1 out of every 1,000 paranormal investigators you know will die from malnutrition without your help. So please, donate today. Call the number listed below. Every penny matters. Every dime could save a life. More specifically, mine. So thank you. From the bottom of my stomach.
Oh my God. Oh, that's awesome. I'd be laughing my butt off the whole time watching that. So that's great. So,
We're laughing the whole time we're filming it because
yeah.
it's not scripted, and I seriously have no clue what he's going to do. So I just have to play off of whatever he's doing.
Well, you're right. It's funny because he's a comedian, and you're the psychic medium. But even on the show that we do, Dark Echoes, we never know what's going to happen. We don't know what the medium's going to pick up when he goes in.
Yeah.
It's so engaging, and you're like, wow, what's going to happen? And then the medium says something. And then later on, me as the investigator, I have no idea a lot of the times what the medium picked up. And then I'll go into that room later, and you see the camera person and the sound person like, oh my God, they just picked up the same thing, and with the equipment,
cool.
and all, it's just mind blowing. And I can't wait for some of these episodes. Matt is so good at what he does, and everything's getting better and better. He's got a lot of people chiming in for him and helping him out, and he's very open to it. So he's actually got chosen to be a guest speaker in New York at a film festival.
Wow.
Coming up. So he's got a lot of connections there, and he's very open to learning, and he puts it into practice. And it's just mind blowing because nobody else is doing this filming style. I think it's going to catch on, but I think he's going to hold on to the secret. I think some of the secret is like the battle between Coke and Pepsi. You don't want to give the secret formula away,
Right.
11 herbs and spices, my friend.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. So
do you have
I'm so glad to be part of it.
Do you have a trailer for your show?
A what?
A trailer?
I don't have it with me. I know Matt would, but it is on Paraflix. It's on Amazon Prime.
Cool.
I'm not so good at this stuff, so I don't currently have anything. But I just encourage everybody. Paraflix, a few bucks a month. Everything on there is paranormal, Bigfoot, UFOs, and Amazon Prime. The new episode of Dark Echoes just aired last Friday. So that's on. He's getting ready for the other one. There's going to be quite a few episodes. I'm on 2 in the first season. Hopefully I make it in. Hopefully I don't end up on the editing room floor, but I think there was some profound stuff that I was part of, especially, the first one I did, there was some debunking that just shows how real it is and that everything isn't a ghost, and you could prove that. And then the second one I did in the first season, there was a real connection with one of the spirits. Can't wait for everybody to see that. And then there was a really, I don't know what I can talk about. Matt's on right now. I don't want him to get all mad at me.
Yeah, don't reveal too much.
Yeah, I'm not going to reveal anything, but just, season 2, we filmed the first episode of season 2, but we're in hiatus right now until probably about January until we film again. But the opening season 2, the first, oh my God, that place was unbelievable. And it was really profound for me. And I think when people see that episode, which will probably be about a year from now, I won't forget that place. You know, I really got in touch with the spirit, and I feel like I helped them, and I won't tell you how that happened. So you got to tune in and watch some of these episodes, because the first season was all like different people. There was a psychic medium, different psychic medium on all the shows. Some were reoccurring, some different investigators. And then as Matt brought it all in, he decided, well, in season 2, we're just going to have core people, you know? So there's 4 core psychic mediums. And as far as I know, besides
7 years ago.
Yeah, and then there's myself and another investigator, and just the people that are, you know, on the show already as the core, you know, will be like investigators too. So it's, you know, you're going to get the same people and that same energy and how they intertwine and how they pick up energy in all these different locations. And the cool thing is a lot of the locations aren't really investigated a lot. These are places you haven't seen on TV before. So which is interesting. Yeah, so you're not going to see the same old Penhurst Asylum and those things that everybody investigates, because it's very hard. I don't know if you guys know, when places get investigated over and over again, we leave our energy there.
Yeah.
So if you investigate a place so much and you go back a month later, your energy might create a haunting that you're haunting yourself. The energy left haunts you. So it's just
and that's what I say all the time. The place may not be haunted, but you keep going, and you can turn a place into being haunted just by going and bringing people there.
Yeah, because you keep bringing that energy, and it's a group energy over and over again. It creates what's called an egregore. You could create something dark there that never was there before.
Well,
so
I look at it like theory. How many lives have been ruined because of a rumor?
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same principle. Yeah, it starts off as nothing, and it slowly grows until we manifest it into something that is beyond our control.
Well, I had some friends of mine that did an experiment. They went into a place that had some
beads and
history,
put paper on it,
and they sat there early in the day, and they were on camera, and they started talking to each other about making up a story about the Civil War soldier that came home, and they made up this whole story. And then their friend, who was a medium, came later on, and he picked up the energy of the story.
Wow.
So they created this haunting, and they proved that you could create an egregore, and the medium picked up on that fake story.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
I know if you go by somebody's phone and say dildo a bunch, you'll start getting advertisements for it on Facebook.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Mike, you're getting that because you actually looked it up.
Yeah. Mike, you got to stay away from the saying dildo too much, you know, so everybody's going to freak out. It's all
I know.
over your phone. So.
It's true. Hide your phone. Here comes Mike.
Yeah, so that is weird. I call that, you know, they're all watching us. They're all watching us. Hopefully, that's why I don't have my phone near the shower. So.
Right. So, do you have a location that is like your, I guess your Goldilocks location? Is there someplace in the world that, man, you've got to go to? You have to go to. You got to find some way to get there. Top of the pops. Must make it happen.
It's funny, you know. I would love. It'll never happen. I want to go investigate the White House.
Yeah.
I know it'll never happen unless I know somebody that becomes president and they're a friend of mine. That would be great.
But that is a good one. You know, it burnt down once, maybe twice. I don't remember. At least once.
Yeah.
It's been tried a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the White House is number one for me. But
I know the one is in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. There's a lot of energy in there, some under the desk energy, some under the desk energy, you know.
Yeah.
But I think being a former corrections officer, I think there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, if you get in, you'll let me come investigate. So.
100%.
Yeah, just don't
and
fall
we're
over yourself.
paintballing.
There you go. That'd be awesome. So being a former corrections officer, you know, Alcatraz. So, you know.
Have you been?
That would be cool. No, I actually, I went to Hawaii, and then on the way back, we changed flights in San Francisco. They're taking off. My whole thing was, I got to look out the window. Maybe I'll see the bridge, and then I could try and see if I could. I was up too high. I couldn't see it, but we weren't in San Francisco long enough for me to like go out and look. We got off the plane, and we had 20 minutes to get to our connecting flight, so no time for that. And I felt to myself, man, I'm so close. I'm in the same city, and I can't go see it. But one of these days.
Well, if we can make it happen,
Krista, First Lady. Yep, there you go.
You're invited to Alcatraz if we ever get to go.
That would be great.
That's one of my bucket list.
Yeah. I'm of Irish descent, so I'd love to hit up a few places in Ireland, so that would be great.
Mine's Irish and Scottish, so I want to go do that tour.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. So
the demonology in your history.
Yeah.
How did you get into demonology? Tell us about that.
Well, anytime you work with the Warrens, you get into it. So, and how far you get into it is, Ed and Lorraine were very religious, Catholic based and all that. So as I got older, I became more esoterically diverse and anytime I go into a home, not everybody's Catholic. So you have to really understand all the different religious backgrounds, things like that. And over the years, watching and seeing things that are dark in some of the homes, they're not always demons. They're not, finding a demon is about 0.00001. You'll probably win the lottery. That's why they make movies about it. But for me, a lot of the times when things are dark happening in a home, there's trauma there. Somebody's a recovering addict. I've gone into homes where people were hoarders. Mm-hmm. And the hoarder, that energy creates that darkness. Oh,
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And also people
can't let nothing go.
Yeah. Well, they have unhealed things too, where, I don't want to talk about on your show, but, people that had bad things happen to them when they were young kids, and we won't talk about that, but they block it out. And as they get older, they can't handle it. That's why some people become alcoholics and all. They can't handle their trauma. They're trying to cover it, and it manifests, and it creates, like I said, those egregores. You could create your own demon in yourself and manifest it and create that darkness in your own home. And I think that's where, demonology is understanding and being able to discern what's actually going on with people. Is it actually just a trauma that needs to be healed, or is there actually something really crazy going on? And in my 40 years, I've never had that happen. I do deal with some friends now that I am counseling. Here in Connecticut, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Enfield Demon House. So there is some crazy energy in that home, and they've had some battles, and I really think there is something there. And I don't think people that go there, it's good to experience because it's dormant right now, but people have to be careful. They have to be careful who they let into the home and all that. And but it is a great place to go and experience paranormal. But don't go in there with the wrong intention, is what I tell people. And I've counseled them. Just make sure you don't invite anybody in that doesn't have your best interest. And I think things will be better when that happens. So
have you, out of your years, especially hanging out with the Warrens,
aside
from the Enfield, have you come across something that you would label demonic?
I had a case where I really thought that I had something bad that was coming up, just the way it came about. And I actually called, do you guys know Mike Salerno? He's a demonologist. He's based in Connecticut. I had texted Mike and I asked him, I says, this is what's presenting, what do you think? I says, I'd rather be prepared. I don't go into anything unless I know all the history. I'm well prepared. I'm not one of those going to go and ask what shirt color you wear. I want to know who's there before I go in, all the history of the house, who lived there, all this other stuff. So the woman I was working with at the time was a psychic medium shaman also. And she's more in touch with spirit. So the way it was presenting, a boy was getting scratched. The scratches were just like showing up. And a lot of us think when somebody's getting scratched, they think it's something demonic. But that's how it presents.
Right.
But as we went in, we talked to him and all that. We picked up that the boy, he's but he's 18 years old, living there with his mom. They were renting this house, and he was getting scripted, but he had psychic abilities he didn't know. Being young, he hasn't developed them. He's always been open to stuff. And what was going on was the energy that was in the house is the guy that used to live there. And I think he wanted to get his story out, and he was so desperate to get his story out, which happens. Sometimes they're so desperate they don't know what they're doing. They might accidentally push you and you fall down up the stairs. You're like, oh my God, a demon pushed me. It's not really. It's the same thing when, let's put it in real life terms. If you're swimming and you're drowning and the lifeguard comes to save you and you're so excited, you grab them and all, you almost drown the lifeguard because you're so desperate. The same thing in the spirit world, just because they don't have their shell anymore. They still have desperation to get their story out. And we felt
that happens to me with the ice cream guy all the time.
Yeah, I know. You got to run down the street and yell ice cream and get them to stop.
I get excited. So. I can't help myself.
I know it happens. So as long as you get that vanilla chocolate mix, you're okay. So, yeah, that's good. Get sprinkles on it too, so that'll be even better.
A little bit of strawberry in there.
Oh yeah.
Don't ruin it with fruit, okay? Yeah. Don't do your weirdo philosophy.
Come on, it's glorious weirdo stuff. So. But yeah, we picked up on this guy, and come to find out, he lived there with his family, and he was a World War II vet.
Oh, wow.
And we picked up on the energy, and we found all this stuff out. But the woman I was working with picked up and saw him psychically and communicated to the point where we found out that he went to World War II, saw some bad stuff, had PTSD, and to cover it up, he became an alcoholic. Didn't treat his family very well. He ended up passing away before he could really make amends. And he was desperate to let his wife know he was sorry and wanted us to put daisies on his wife's grave. So we found out where his wife's grave was. We put daisies on it. We had a little ceremony. And as soon as we did that, all the activity stopped at the house.
That's awesome.
Nice.
But again, it goes to show you, if you don't do your due diligence and all that, people would say that's a demon. It wasn't. I still prepared myself. There's my buddy. That's my spooning buddy, Brandon Cooper.
Brandon, it's actually me. We haven't done it yet. Just for it.
It'll be a triple, a menage a trois, a spooning.
You know what?
We'll all get together.
You're gonna make Phil jealous.
Yeah.
Right?
No, he won't, because he doesn't spoon worth a shit. I'm here to tell you.
Oh, does he? Oh, my
Several
God.
nights he doesn't spoon worth a damn.
I just want to grab onto his gnome beard and spoon him right there.
I would spoon with Brandon Cooper as well.
Yeah, I'd cuddle him. I'd rub his belly for good luck.
Oh, there you go.
Ask him.
Well, he is a gnome. You might get some good luck out of it.
Good.
Yeah.
There you go.
See if he knows the leprechaun.
Good as rubbing the Buddha, So
Brandon's actually going to come on as a guest on July 10th.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Definitely going to watch that one.
The Cubester.
That's right. But yeah, I've had tons of investigations over the years. I've investigated some pretty historic places. A lot of times, unless I'm doing an event, usually I don't just wander into these places. I only go when I'm called, and I think that's important.
So let me ask you a question from a corrections officer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're around a lot of. It's a rough environment, right?
Yeah.
This seems weird, but have you ever, had interactions with somebody who've been like, yeah, they're hanging around after death.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna be problematic even after he's gone.
Yeah. Yep. I've run into it. I do profile. I did profiling back in the day. You have to do the forensic type of psychology and all that. And you had to know what you were dealing with. And being in Region 4 as crisis management, I had to know what I was dealing with. If anything went down, I had to know what inmate I was dealing with, their profile, their history, and all that, and how we were going to quell the problem. And as you know, I now in my spare time, I profile historic serial killers, and that's one of my true crime paranormal. I do quite a bit, and I drive myself crazy doing that, but I think it's very profound sometimes because it all intertwines and all that. You know, we're never going to know why serial killers kill people.
Well, for cereal, duh.
Yeah, of course, for cereal, for a
Cheerios or Fruit Loops.
Yeah. Lucky Charms for me, man.
We're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Hello.
Well, it's funny because on Tuesdays, I do a TikTok thing on the Facebook, Instagram. It's Tuesday morning cereal. I'll do a 60-second clip of weird, serial killer facts. And, of course, I put the little animations on there to make it look cool, but I do have a cereal bowl there. So, Tuesday morning cereal, you got to have the cereal bowl. So if I put anything different, they'll probably kick me off TikToks. Because there's been a few times, every time I talk about Dahmer or Bundy, I get shadow blocked.
It's true. TikTok is weird, man. They will.
Yeah. I don't think the Chinese like Jeffrey Dahmer.
I talked about Jack in the Box, and they blocked my TikTok.
Yeah.
And we weren't even talking about Jack in the Box. We were talking about Jack's, the restaurant in Alabama, comparing it to Jack in the Box. Boom, out.
That's what we thought it was. We were in Alabama. We went to this place called Jack's. The spelling looks the exact same. It's a red square. It's a red circle.
Yeah.
We went in expecting it to be just like a fancy Jack in the Box. Thought maybe they were doing some type of rebranding.
For serious.
They had like fried chicken.
Yeah. I see there's a question from this guy, Ian. So when I worked in the prison system, there was a couple inmates there that were considered serial killers. And of course, for anonymity, I can't talk about it. So even though I'm retired, I still can't talk about that stuff because they're still alive. And, for me, when I do my Tuesday morning serial, it's not to glorify the serial killer. It's to help people with my knowledge, to learn about these people, what makes them tick, and try to avoid it because statistically in your lifetime, you will come across 38 serial killers and not even know it until you see them on the news and like, shit, I saw that guy at the bar the other day.
Yeah.
You never know. So you're coming across it. And there's a few people I know that actually have had serial killers part of their life. So, yeah.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Brandon, is that charity for me? Should we rub your belly to make money for me?
So what's interesting about you mentioning that you come across, up to 38 serial killers.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it would be like if it was 39? Pandemonium.
That would be crazy. But you hope the 39th one.
Pure pandemonium.
The 39th one is probably the one that's going to get you. So let's stay away from number 39. Yeah.
Well, okay, so this is where
get lucky with 38. So.
This is a pretty interesting question, be it religious or not. One, do you believe in reincarnation, that you come back? And if that's the case, do you believe that you could be getting the same serial killer over and over again?
That is a possibility. I think sometimes with serial killers, depending on when they die, the energy could still be there. That's, again, they're evil in life. Even though their shell's gone, they could still be evil in death. If they decided not to make that transition, a lot of them, being the big wimps that they are, doing what they do, they may not want to go on because they're afraid. They finally discovered that they're psychotic or they're, sociopath ways. When they die, it kind of goes away, but they're like, oh my God, I don't want to face what I think I'm going to happen to me. And they
what if they're also just so enamored with the murders that they've done that they don't want to leave?
Yeah. Well, there's an old saying, H.H. Holmes, when they hung him, a lot of people didn't think that it was faked, that he really didn't get hung and all that. There was so much, even back then, if it was going on now, there'd be so much social media about it. But after H.H. Holmes was hung, there was, I think, 36 people that were involved with him getting hung, the guy that, hung him, people that were involved in the court case, all this other stuff, started having mysterious deaths happen to them, accidents. They got sick all of a sudden, like not even like less than a year after this. So it's so weird. It was almost like he was killing them in spirit. and
like he cursed them.
hunting them and cursing them. Yeah, it's just crazy. That energy, how we use it, we don't know how it works. Some people may know better than others, putting those hexes on people as they die, and you put that intention out there, then stuff could happen.
Yeah, there's not a man out there that doesn't wish he was well hung.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's true.
But this is another interesting one. Karma. If you bring karma into the picture, does the serial killer become a serial killer victim from karma?
Yeah,
I guess that. See, this is where to me, if you believe in reincarnation, it's hard for me to believe in, like, they say, oh, karmic, you'll come back as a victim, or maybe you come back as like a cockroach, something like that. Yeah. I think you're doomed to repeat the failures of the past until you can figure it out in the future. So I think if you were, for example, I think let's take somebody like Jeffrey Dahmer, right? He died in the 90s. I don't know. Who's to say that? And even prior to that, who's to say that he wasn't a reincarnated version of Ed Gein? And who's to say that he's not going to come back as somebody else, somebody new?
You're right. There is that attachment, in ancestral, your ancestors and all that line. There's that ancestral trauma that we have to overcome sometimes too. It's almost like families keep repeating the same stuff over and over again. It's so attached to it. And yeah, you're right. There was a boy in India. He was only 8 years old and he had already committed 3 murders. He's the youngest serial killer known. What do you know at 8 years old? That's another thing like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Was there a serial killer who reincarnated into this little boy and gave him those ideas at 8 years old to kill these 3 people? So, yeah.
Similarly with a 5-year-old who can play the piano like nobody else's business.
Yeah, it is reincarnation sometimes. When you're at that young age, just so you guys know, psychologically, when you're born to the age of 7, you're in what's called theta. Theta is that openness. That's what psychics use. So when kids are like that, it's why they have their imaginary friends, those types of things. Yeah. It wasn't until 7 where critical thinking kicks in and people start telling, it's not real, and they believe it. So when you're in that stage, that's when a lot of those types of things happen. You pick up on those things. And I think that's important as a kid, as you see that, and just for psychics to develop it. And I've talked to a lot of psychics, and usually it's like when that critical thinking kicks in at 7, some of them lose it, some of them stick with it when it's encouraged. But as you get older, a lot of psychics I talked to have had near-death experiences or something traumatic happen to bring that back out to discover what their gifts are.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So. I know when I was younger, I used to be able to I used to be able to fart the chorus to Halfway There from Bon Jovi.
Nice.
It just sounded like shit.
Yeah. That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you didn't shart the chorus,
Well, look, I'm from Vegas.
It might have been a little flat, but it wasn't.
I gambled and lost.
Yeah.
It got so frequent that I used to keep a pair of underwear in the trunk of my car.
And again, like we talked about before, that's a good thing that you have that extra pair of underwear. So when you go in and investigate and they scare the shit out of you, you do have that clean underwear to change into.
You got it ready.
Very important.
Yeah. But Brian told me that kid was an overachiever.
Yeah. Well, just so Brandon knows, Brandon is unfortunately, like I have to say, Brandon is going to be my favorite spooner. So because
it's fine for now.
Yeah. Well, he's got the big beard. He's the gnome, man.
Yeah. And
I have a stuffed gnome and all that sits in the passenger seat of my car when I drive to work back and forth.
Oh, so, nice. Yeah. Just cut a little hole in the mouth.
Yeah, there you go. Anything goes tonight. Wait.
Brandon
down the rabbit hole again on that fucking remark right there.
He says also brain damage can create ability, which Brandon Cooper would know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he's watching.
Yes.
He's family. He's one of my favorite dudes.
I got to meet Brandon Cooper at Deadwood.
Yeah.
And we had a Brandon party. We had a blast, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was my very first Paracon too, by the way. And that was.
I want to tell you, Mike. I feel very sad for you that you have dead wood. So.
Right.
I'm more sorry for Krista.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, there's medication for that.
Krista, I'm sorry for the dead wood.
Krista, I'm also sorry for the dead. Oh, however, Deadwood itself was absolutely amazing. I wish we could go back.
That's a badass name for a fucking place. So yeah, it's great. So
well, and at the time when Deadwood was happening, it was considered a free state. There were no laws. There was no government.
Yeah,
controlling at the time, so the people kind of controlled it themselves, and it didn't go well.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
Never does.
Hey. Yeah. But we did. It was so fun. It was so awesome. Even meeting Brandon was actually really cool. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Have you ever been to Virginia City?
No, I haven't. I know there was some shows about it. There was what was that? Virginia City. They had a few investigators go there and investigate all over town for a series. So. Yeah,
and Mark Twain helped put Virginia City on the map more recently. That's where he was from and he loved. And it was at one point it was the largest town in Nevada, and then in less than a handful of years, just poof, everybody and everything was gone. The money dried up. Yeah. And moved on.
Well, yeah, because when Mark Twain was there, he was writing for a newspaper.
Correct.
And and actually, I live in Connecticut, so his house is right in Hartford, Connecticut. Right. And when he was living there, he wrote Huckleberry Finn and all the big name books and all that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of history. So that's cool that we have that connection that Virginia City and Mark Twain and all that. So I love history.
You got to come down, man.
He's actually my fifth grade.
Come down.
He's my ancestor.
Really? Wow. Yep. That's awesome.
His niece was my 5th grade teacher.
Yeah.
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 Actually, back in the day, I investigated the Mark Twain house. They let us in and got to investigate it. And one of the really weird things was they always talked about it, but being an empath, and one of my things that I have is I have this ability to smell things that nobody else is smelling. I was up in the billiard room and all I could smell was cigar smoke.
Oh.
And nobody else was smelling it. I was like, nobody smells that? I smell cigar smoke. I don't know if Mark Twain used to smoke like 12 cigars a day. That's
really
crazy. It's a cigar. It's not like a cigarette. It's like, how do you smoke 12 cigars a day without your teeth rotting out and looking brown? Well, I never seen a picture. They're all black and white back then, so who knows how brown his.
I don't think you ever see him smiling.
Nope.
No.
Now we know why.
He probably had wooden teeth like George Washington. So.
So Thomas, you were talking to me before the show that you have an event that you're putting on. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I am part of a producing events group. It's a duo. Myself and a gentleman, his name is Charles Rosenay. We are the Shaman and the Showman LLC. So we put on events. Our upcoming one, July 20th and 21st, is the Paracon in Connecticut. So it's Paracon, CONN. You can catch that on paracon.org. You can get your tickets on that. So that's coming up July. We got a lot of great speakers. Charles and I always try, when we do our events, we have a core group that is always there, which we love. But we try and bring different personalities to come and speak. So that way, you get to see different aspects of it. Our biggest investigator, this year that's going to be speaking is one of the original ghost hunters from the Ghost Hunter series. I don't know if you guys go way back, season 1, season 2, Andy Andrews.
Yep.
So Andy also did that in Ghost Hunters International. he's never done a Paracon before, and we were able to get him to come and speak. So we got a lot of good people like that. You guys know who Dan Sturgis is?
Mm-mm.
Dan is on Paranormal Caught on Video. He's one of the talking heads and all that. And he's going to be there.
Aaron Sagers is on that too, right?
Yeah, Aaron's a good friend of mine. We've had
he's a blast.
We've had a few nights of up till 5 a.m. talking about weird crap.
Yep.
I was up in Mount Washington, New Hampshire. So it was Sagers, John Tenney, and we were up by the fire with the big freaking moose that just sits above the fireplace. And there's just a group of us. We're just talking about weird shit and drinking our spirits, talking about spirits. And man, those are times I'll never forget because, you go up, these people come and pay to come and go to these events at the haunted hotel. Like, the Mount Washington Hotel is very haunted. And they come up and you get to entertain them and talk about weird stuff. There's nothing better than being able to help people learn the right way on how the paranormal works. And it's not, what you see on TV most of the time. But I tell you, I am the glorious weirdo, but the only one weirder than me is John Tenney. So if you know John Tenney, freaking guy's weirder than I am. We're both the same age. We've been at it for a long time, and I love the guy. We've had some fun over the years and all that, but with my workload now, we don't see each other that much anymore. But Sagers, all them guys, they're great. I mean, they're the real deal, and they're fun. So
last time I saw Aaron Sagers, he came down to the hotel lobby where we were all hanging out.
Yeah.
I had brought a bottle of Johnny Walker. He comes down with a 2-liter bottle of Tito's.
Yeah.
And it was party on,
Did he go into the vending machine and get the grape soda? Because we were so desperate. The bar closed at the freaking hotel, and he's like, "Shit, I don't grape soda and vodka." I'm like, "Okay, all the power to you, buddy."
Why not? That's awesome. No, but I'm gonna talk to him about that next time I see him. That's great.
Yeah. Tell him the grape soda at the Mount Washington Hotel. They'll remember that. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, folks.
Tell him I said hi.
I will. When do I see him next? I think we'll see him in Michigan. Are you going to be in Michigan?
No. I'm not able to go out there.
Might be a Gettysburg.
The hardest thing is I have a normal job and then I have a paranormal job, and I have to balance it so I can keep my normal job. So, so I can only do so many things. Yeah, it is, so I do so many events up and around this area. But my thing is if I get invited to these events to come and talk, I'll go out to them. But, I'm not going to do anything, I just don't go to stuff anymore. Unfortunately, I'd love to. There's a lot of my friends that I love to go to support, but, I'm working my ass off, and I'm doing a TV show. I'm doing these events. I'm working a normal job. It's almost like 80, 100 hours a week that I'm doing shit. So, you do what you got to do. And
I am right there with you. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I understand that very wholeheartedly. So,
So we actually have the next event that we're going to be at is the Gettysburg Bash, and that's going to be July 26th through the 28th. We will actually be going there filming one of our episodes beforehand. Yep, looking forward to that. And then in August, we have the Michigan Paracon.
Nice. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people at Michigan Paracon, but if you're up there, if you see Tenny, tell him Tom said hi, and I miss him, and talking about our weird shit at the fire at the Mount Washington Hotel. So
got it.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So he's very informative and all that. So learned a lot from him over the years. So
Thomas Patrick Gormley, everyone, please feel free to follow him. Check out at Paracon with 2Ns.org. If you are interested in going to his Paracon, that is going to be in Connecticut.
Yes.
Also, you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok.
Yep. Facebook. We do psychic fairs. So after the Paracon, we have a psychic fair at a brewery called Dudleytown in Connecticut. we are also doing in Connecticut. A lot of people don't know is 45 years before Salem witch trials, there was witch trials in Connecticut. And
Really?
just last year, the court system exonerated all the women that were accused of witchcraft.
Oh, wow.
So we're having a festival in the city of Hartford on the historic Pratt Street, which is a brick road. And we're going to have vendors there, speakers, just to talk about the history of it. So it's going to be exciting. It's free to enter to be able to experience it. And then after that, Charles and I, as the Shaman and the Showman LLC, in October, in the middle of October, in the craziness in Salem, we do the Salem Paracon. It's the Salem Paracon Horror Fest.
And
So
is Charles in charge? Or
yes, he is. He is in charge of the company. He's been doing it for a long time. He started out doing Beatle tours, for the Beatles 40 years ago. And he's very into the monster world. So he does Dracula tours where he takes people to Transylvania and Romania, takes them on the same tour as Bram Stoker's Dracula and Vlad Tepes, Vlad the Impaler, and all that. Yeah. So it's very exciting. Wow. And he does it around Halloween, and people go, and it's a week experience, and you get to stay in Dracula's castle, and it's crazy. Well, the Beatle tours is cool too. So he's a very.
We'll have to chat and see what we can join you with.
Yeah, so send me a list of all of the events that you have coming up, and we'll start helping you promote them.
Oh, that'd be great. So I'm going to be typing for a while. So we do a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm not good at typing. I think I still do the one finger, So, but,
right?
Yeah.
Do voice to text.
Yeah, I know. I got to.
Karen, you have a good night too.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead and roll them credits.
We'll roll the credits.
Roll the credits.
Yeah.